You can define a fighter as a man with an ego to be the greatest at what he does, who comprehends pain as a way to make sense of the world, whose mental attitude to his pursuit of glory can be devastating for the opposition.
Says Tyson Fury has to be perfect for the whole fight. He only has to be perfect for 1 second.
Wilder is a one-trick pony. He's not a very good boxer, but he has that one weapon, his massive right hand, the hardest hitting right hand that I've seen since George Foreman.
Towering over his body on the ground, seeing that his eyes rolling in the back of his head and the position that his body laid like a murder scene.
Wilder celebrated like it's over, but the Gypsy King gets up. Look at the legs, how strong your legs are. I said, I'm fine.
How is this man possibly getting up?
Tyson Fury has said that he's going to bring the fight to Wilder. He said he's going to hold the centre of the ring and put it on Wilder.
What I'd heard out of the camp, out of Fury's camp, that he was going to be aggressive and he was going to try and walk him down and knock him out. And I was like, that is the worst idea ever. And it ended up being a great idea. Great tactics, great game plan. Tyson was brilliant. Deontay was terrible.
He's a bully fighter, and when a bully gets bullied, he folds every single time.
Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder will square up once again for the third time in boxing's most anticipated fight of the year. Wilder's hopes of a trilogy have suddenly revived following an arbitration ruling in the US that the Americans' right to challenge for the WBC World Heavyweight title must occur, ceasing the hopes of witnessing an undisputed World Heavyweight bout against the fellow Brit, Anthony Joshua.
I don't believe anything. You know, maybe I was too naive to listen to these people who are supposedly experts and been in the game for so long that it wouldn't be a problem. The whole thing, AJ feels that Fury never wanted to fight him. That Fury was just using his name for clout.
We was contractual obligated to have a fight, period. You gotta abide by the contract no matter what. You gotta handle business. You can't close the chapter without going to Deontay Wilder.
Two giants are set to collide in a fight filled with a lot of bad blood due to Tyson's humiliating victory over Wilder in the second fight.
My mind is very violent. We built the whole facility to commit a legal homicide. They put hatred in my heart. And now I'm seeking revenge.
Wake up and smell the competition. This is the beginning of the new chapter. We're going to call this chapter King Returns to Vegas.
This level of boxing, you can't take your eye off the ball. You'd be stupid to do, and Tyson's not a stupid man. So I think you're going to see an even better Tyson and an even better Wilder, definitely, because it's his last roll of the dice. You know, if he loses again, where's he going to go? He can't go anywhere, so he's going to give it his best shot. So I think we're in for a real treat.
This right here is retaliation. We want it back in blood, baby.
He got absolutely dismantled and smashed to bits in our last fight, and he wants that all over again. He was telling people I've cracked his skull, I've injured his shoulder, I've done his bicep, but yet he wants to get in with me again.
The victory has been hit with a variety of conspiracy theories, Tyson's glove being loose or possibly loaded with an object. Wilder's fans clamored the Gypsy King with being a cheat on both the first and the second fight, as his gloves looked floppier than usual.
You can't not see that gloves do not bend. Your wrist can't bend unless you double jointed or something. How the hell it bends 90-degree angle? It don't keep a fold in. It don't keep a fold in space, nor does it have loose space in it. It's impossible. It's impossible for that to happen.
The The Bronze Bomber has revenge on his mind and has never given up on landing another chance to face his nemesis in Fury. From blaming his water and objects in Fury's gloves, the only way for Wilder to wipe the whole debacle from his memory will be to get back in the ring with the WBC heavyweight champion as soon as possible. They have unfinished business.
They can expect to see a mindset of a killer in the ring, because it's about to get crazy.
Rumors aside, when the bell rang for round one, it was clear that Fury was going to do what he said he was going to do, and that was to get in Wilder's face and score the knockout. The Brit darted at the American, closing space and stalking him.
You could tell in round one, wait a second, Tyson Fury has figured him out.
Right. He didn't try to box. He didn't use his greatest assets, his legs, his elusive ability. He used his size, his determination, and he took advantage of a guy who was there to be taken advantage. A guy whose technique was there to fail him on any given night, and his power was there to save him on any given night. Tonight, his technique failed him, and his power, never got a chance to save him.
Fury maintained his strategy, suffocating Wilder, crowding him, dirty boxing in the clinch, and making Wilder carry his weight. Eventually, the Bronze Bomber's corner threw in the towel in the 7th round after he had been battered, bruised, and dropped several times. As much as Wilder clearly lost the second fight, he still has dynamite in his hands and could force us to having to sit through a 4th fight if he wins. Fury fighting Wilder is like playing Russian roulette. Play it enough times, you'll get shot. Fight Wilder enough, you'll get knocked out.
Fury's a tremendous boxer, especially for his size. He's an excellent boxer, full of confidence the whole nine. Sugar Hill and them made some adjustments. They tweaked something. Wilder knocks him out. He knocks him out cold this time. Wilder can do some things where the advantages are in his favor, but he's got to do it from the start. He don't need to sit back. But I fully expect, from what I know, I'm privy to a lot of things that most people aren't. There's a whole new Deontay Wilder that they ain't seen. And I fully expect him to implement that when they go.
Go back and look at the feet. This dude, he's always set the punch. He got the wide stance and he's here. And then he take a little step back to get his distance. Like, you gotta watch him. He has a higher IQ than people give him credit for, man. His technique is kind of terrible. I'm not gonna lie. But his IQ is there. And once he fills that perfect right hand, boom, it's good night. And all it takes, man, is 2 seconds. Like he said, it's true. I've been in there. If I can go back and I'll give away all my skills. To have a right hand from Deontay Wilder, give me that right hand. Because I'm gonna find a way to land it and end the night.
I want a body on my record. I want one. I really do. That's the Bronze Bomber. Like, he want one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. I don't have no feelings towards the man I'm finna fight.
Look, enough said. Time to cut off his head. Come July the 24th, there will be bloodshed.
Heard it all before, to be fair. Said all this last time. Decapitation and bloodshed and all that. And we all know what went down there, so.
Ever since Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury, the Bronze Bomber has not been very outspoken, and seems like the Gypsy King has muted the chilled verbal assaults Deontay once had, a sign of a mentally defeated fighter in some cases.
Like I told you guys before, I think the loss was the best thing that ever happened to him because they woke up a fucking monster.
So he has a lot to worry about. I gave him a concussion. Did you see his eyes go back in the back of his head? Even under the circumstances that I was under, he couldn't even knock me out. I was alive and well, still standing on my feet. This is retaliation.
People say stuff when they're under immense pressure and they're mentally unwell. And they're in a fragile state, so, and that's where I see Deontay Wilder at the moment. We've improved at least 60% since the last fight. I've been working with Sugar now constantly for like 15, 16 months. We've had 5 training camps back to back, and Deontay Wilder's in for a very big shock. I'm not looking for movement or speed, I'm just looking for a knockout, like I did last time.
I feel like fire should fight with fire. Deontay Wilder has to go right at Tyson Fury.
The mindset is just violent. It's very violent. You know what I mean?
That's my motivation. Revenge. Glass are glass. Back in blood. Most definitely the baddest man on the planet. That's seeking and that's on a mission to become one champion, one face, one name.
I don't care about all the undisputed belts and all that stuff being remembered. I care about smashing people's faces in who's in front of me. And if Deontay Wilder's in front of me in 6 weeks' time, then I'm going to give him a good hiding. And the motivation is because it's what I'm born to do. I'm living my dream, and I love to fight. I'm not interested in the money, I'm not interested in the belts or what comes with it. I'm interested in the blood and the fight that's going to happen.
Fury has lived up to his name and remains unbeaten as a pro at 30 victories and 1 draw in a total of 31 bouts. 21 of Fury's victories have come inside distance. There are 2 distinct segments to Fury's career. The first going from his debut on the undercard of Carl Froch versus John Pascal back in December of 2008, right through to that epic victory over Vladimir Klitschko in Dusseldorf in November 2015. The Gypsy King upped his record to 25-0 that night, and the world looked like it would be his oyster. Instead, he was on the brink of boxing oblivion. Mental health issues and thoughts of suicide and massive weight gain up to 400 pounds left many experts wondering if he would ever fight again.
I'm very slow. I'm still doing it to myself. So I have to do it to myself and get it off.
What followed is one of sport's greatest comeback stories. After almost 3 years after that night in Germany, Fury began the long road back. Within 2 bouts, he was back in the firing line at the very top level. And taking on the man widely acclaimed as the most devastating puncher in the sport, Deontay Wilder. Despite still not being back in prime fighting shape, Fury performed highly creditably in outboxing his opponent. He got off the floor twice to hear the final bell before being handed a draw. Many experts were convinced he won comfortably. On February 22nd, Fury crowned his incredible comeback story. Under the tutelage of Kronk, disciples Jarvin Sugar Hill Stewart and Andy Lee, for the first time, he shocked the world. Wilder was battered to a 7th round TKO. Now the trilogy with the Bronze Bomber awaits, and after that, the enormous carrot of a potential unification doubleheader with Anthony Joshua. Despite that devastating defeat by Fury in February, Wilder still boasts a stellar resume. He has a professional record of 42-1-1, 42 victories, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. Wilder has often come in for criticism from experts. They believe he is not only unorthodox, but also technically
from the
a
beginning
very
of his
limited
career
fighter.
that Wilder, and with a lot of attacking, when I say it, especially from Wilder's people, that Wilder can't fight. Can't fight. Never learned how to fight. But punches are not made. They are born. And he was born with that great eraser, with that thunderbolt in the right hand.
Got him. He always possessed one pretty decent cure for that: dynamite in both his fists. Deontay is one of the biggest punchers around, notably putting Fury on the floor twice in their first meeting.
I grazed him. It wasn't a knockout punch. I knew that he wasn't hurt or buzzed or anything like that.
I just got caught boxing, heavyweight boxing. I got back up, I was fine. Probably won the rest of the round.
Set my shut up, and there it was. To see his eyes go in the back of his head, to see his neck stretch and his veins pulsing out of his neck, you know, I felt like it was over. Magically, somehow, this man got up.
6, 7, 8, 9. He's up.
On more than one occasion, Wilder has gone into the later stages of fights needing a knockout. Most recently, that rematch win over Luis Ortiz. Until the rematch with Fury, he had always managed to find it.
When people come to see a Deontay Wilder fight, they know one thing for sure. That he's gonna give his all, and somebody gonna get knocked out.
He would retain the belt for a total of 11 defenses, accumulating in the defeat by Fury. Those defenses include wins over Dominic Breazeale, Eric Molina, and Chris Arreola. Now, the very experts who doubted his boxing ability all along are asking an even more searching question. Has he been exposed forever at the very highest level, or can he adapt and come back stronger?
Man, I want to do more than just knock him out. You know what I mean? People know what I talk about. I don't really have to express myself too strongly.
Not only is Fury in for a shot, but the whole world is. I'm looking forward to July the 24th to show the greatness of me.
Clearly, Fury figured something out about Wilder that was reflected in his approach in the rematch. Close the distance, which should take the power out of Wilder's hands and try to tire him out.
Tyson's danger comes from his awkwardness and his unpredictability. He's a very difficult puzzle.
It was a dangerous strategy, especially early in the fight, since closing the distance would put him in the line of fire for that devastating knockout power. But you can see the Bronze Bomber slowing as early as the second round, and surely the cut to his left ear was bothersome.
The only thing I can concentrate on, the motivation for this fight, is deal with him properly this time, so I don't want to come back for a third time. I cracked his skull last time, done his shoulder, tore his bicep. So I'm hoping to double up on all them injuries.
A full training camp for Wilder to work on circling to his right, away from Fury, and firing his jab more often to maintain distance may change the look for this matchup for the third fight. That said, a point fighting style is not Wilder's strong suit, and I can't see a way that he could win on the judges' scorecards. They have all the makings of a great rivalry, which the heavyweight division could use right now. Rivalry fights transcend win or lose. Sometimes you just like to see two people go at it. The only way there will be a different outcome the third time around is if Wilder storms out of the gate at the start of the fight and lets his hands fly. Knockout or be knocked out.
I think when you've been undefeated for a long time like Wilder was, you need to justify a reason why you lost. So I don't think he could come up with one reason why he lost, he could come up with 20. Sure. But sometimes mentally, emotionally, they have to say all these things to vindicate why they've lost a fight. Yeah. It can't just be I've lost to a better man on the night, fair play, get you next time, mush. Sure. It'll just be like, oh my God, he had moon boots on. This guy, he had a crossbow in his fists.
What's fueling me for this fight against Tyson Fury is revenge, solid revenge, you know. What I done for him and what he didn't do for me. You know, playing games, even cheated.
An excuse maker. A guy who couldn't face reality that he'd lost.
My mind is very violent right now. And revenge is all I see. I'm strong-willed. I'm a warrior. I understood the circumstances that I was under. I could have went back to my corner. I could have quit, you know, and gave up. But I didn't do it. I accepted the challenges that I was going to be facing.
I told everyone what I was going to do to Deontay Wilder in that second fight, and I did it. So that means I knew everything about him. I studied him, obviously. I knew all of his moves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to much of the same, to be fair.
I know who I am. I know what I stand for, and I know what I represent. Point blank period. I'm a king.
I don't make excuses. Even on my worstest night, I can still find substance to beat these fellas.
I'm looking to be victorious. I'm looking to show the world greatness. the best version of Deontay Wilder come July the 24th. And somebody gonna get knocked out.
It's going to be a great fight. You know, you got two dangerous heavyweights, top of the game, both in the prime of their lives. What's not to want to watch, you know? Someone's getting knocked out, either him or me.
Exchanging hands may give the edge to the American, as he has devastating power.
And there it goes with the left hook. Fury's down.
But Fury may not be gullible enough to stand in the pocket in that situation. Thank you for watching Boxing Stars. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section.